Russian FPV drone operators share a few images of their work in the Kupiansk and Dnipropetrovsk regions. An FPV drone attack on a buggy-style vehicle. In an area I believe to be in Dnipropetrovsk, a Russian FPV drone operator encountered two Ukrainian soldiers hiding among the trees. The soldier opened fire and threw a tree branch. A Ukrainian ATV carrying 3 people was hit by a Russian fiber optic drone. The ATV driver had turned on his fog lights. He did this to blind the drone, but the professional drone operator still spotted the trick. It flew towards its target. Another case where a Ukrainian UAV landed on a Russian air defense system and directed its firepower. Ukrainian drone lands on book system. A Ukrainian UAV performing a bomber aircraft mission landed on a buck launcher and traveled 15 kilometers to relay information to the operator.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
When Russian soldiers noticed this, the first thing they did was film it with their phones, and the UAV also filmed them. An attempt to bring down the UAV with a branch failed, and eventually the soldiers fled the vehicle, as another FPV drone appeared to be approaching. As previously noted, this is the second instance of a UAV landing on an air defense system vehicle and performing target identification. 2 Ukrainian soldiers played dead when they heard the buzz of an FPV drone. However, the FPV drone operator didn't fall for their act. He got very close to them. With no other option but to flee, the 2 soldiers got up and tried to run. It was too late. New footage from the South Group's combat operations against a lone motorcyclist soldier advancing towards Konstantinovka. Ukrainian forces are using abandoned buildings as temporary staging areas. Russian operators attacked these buildings with fiber optic drones equipped with heavy ordnance. An International Max Pro was parked on the side of the road with its rear door open, and as a soldier was getting inside, it was spotted by a Russian FPV drone. The drone operator wasted no time and flew directly onto the armored vehicle. A truck carrying ammunition belonging to Ukrainian forces was detected and subsequently destroyed. Reconnaissance units then discovered a towed howitzer right next to the truck, which was also destroyed after several FPV drone attacks. Ukrainian forces on the front lines were deprived of artillery support for a period of time. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. Two Garan 2 UAVs are approaching a Ukrainian armed forces facility in Donbass.
Штук в одне місце.
5.
5.
3 і ось 2 сразу нахуй.
Увага, 2 прильоти на тему.
Destruction of the Ukrainian armed forces standby UAVs. The Ukrainian armed forces typically place UAVs carrying warheads on rooftops, roadsides, and open areas in standby mode, calling them standby UAVs. These devices take off after receiving a signal from a reconnaissance UAV and strike their targets. The footage shows the destruction of such a UAV. Ukrainian forces launched a drone equipped with heavy munitions. As the drone advanced toward its target, Russian UAV operators destroyed it in mid-air. Then, paratroopers from the 56th Guards Airborne Regiment destroyed a Ukrainian armed forces towed howitzer and armored vehicles in the Sumy border region. Zaporizhzhia Front. Objective control of incendiary weapons and combat operations by Russian operators at the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in the settlement of Stepnohirsk. Another 8-wheeled armored personnel carrier belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces was stopped by Russian drones with a single shot. FPV operators belonging to the Sever Group used a KVN drone to inflict fire damage on the temporary staging point of a Ukrainian armed forces mortar crew discovered during reconnaissance, and also destroyed a 120mm enemy weapon. Fighters affiliated with the Sever V Brigade, part of the volunteer forces, destroyed an American-made Mk-19 grenade launcher. UAV operators calculated the coordinates and relayed the information to artillery units. Several artillery strikes destroyed the position and weapon. At the same time, several incendiary munitions were fired, causing a fire. Soldiers of the 11th Army Corps are disrupting enemy logistics in the Kharkiv region, the Hotnensky section of the front. The Ukrainian armed forces mined a bridge in the Novozvinivka region in anticipation of a possible attack by the Severians on this section of the front. However, they forgot that this game can be played by both sides. As a result of an FPV drone attack, the bridge was destroyed, and Ukrainian armed forces units are currently experiencing major supply problems. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that artillery shelling of the southern troops destroyed a UAV control center and a Ukrainian mortar located in a bunker near the Serebryanka area in Donetsk. The positions were destroyed as a result of precise calculation of coordinates by reconnaissance UAV operators. What do you think the Russian-Ukrainian war would have been like without drones? Leave your thoughts in the comments. The Air Force of the Western Ground Forces destroyed a Ukrainian UAV control center. The footage shows that a Ukrainian UAV control point in the Bogoslavsky direction was accurately hit and destroyed by an LMUR KH-39. In the morning, another transport vehicle carrying Ukrainian armed forces personnel was destroyed in the direction of Kharkiv. The FPV drone managed to hit the target with nimble maneuvers without hitting any trees. Kharkiv direction. Another hunter, using the FPV drone VT-40, finally lost Bukhanka. The drone operator seems to be very angry. He shot the vehicle in the night and shot it again in the morning. Unable to let go of his anger, the operator launched a third attack to wipe it off the map completely. Even scrap metal no longer exists in this world. Kharkiv direction. FPV image of the antagonist group destroys the equipment of the armed forces of Ukraine. During the day in this direction, several pickup trucks of the armed forces of Ukraine were destroyed. Soldiers now have to walk. If possible, they are trying to verify the destruction of the destroyed vehicles with objective cameras, because sometimes there are comments like, "There is no footage of the destruction of the vehicle you say was destroyed." Because of such comments, objective imaging is tried to be done, but it may not always be possible. Zaporizhia direction. Novgorod Prince of Novgorod Vandal drones with Russian fiber optics hit the Ukrainian armed forces in the bushes. They also blew up PWDs where fighters were trying to hide. Also, one of the soldiers of the Ukrainian armed forces decided to take shelter in a house, but the house was soon destroyed. All images confirmed by objective drone footage. Drones with fiber optics hit targets after reconnaissance drones revealed the locations of Ukrainian soldiers. Leave your thoughts in the comments. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that the fighters of the southern group destroyed a detachment of Kholodny Yar fighter jets of the armed forces of Ukraine. FPV drones, mortars, and towed howitzer units took part in the operation. The Russians shot down a French self-propelled vehicle that was moving rapidly towards a firing position in the Dnipropetrovsk border area. Moreover, on the way, they destroyed an enemy vehicle designed to deliver ammunition. At the beginning of the supply of Caesars to Ukraine, Paris described them as unattainable for the Russians. The vehicle is maneuverable, but not invincible. The soldiers of the Vostok group confirmed this. In the first attack, a trailer full of equipment and a BC was destroyed, followed by a second drone lurking in ambush, hitting a Nissan carrying personnel. Russian drones lurking on the road is now a classic attack tactic. Ukrainian forces have also started to copy this tactic from the Russians. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Special forces and southern reconnaissance units carried out joint work with attack drones against the Ukrainian forces' pickup truck. The Russian Ministry of Defense released footage of the liberation of a village in Donetsk. Fiber optic drones appear to have been used effectively during the attacks. Mortars and towed howitzers were also actively used in the attacks. Ukrainian forces' reconnaissance UAVs were shot down in the air by Russian drones. The machine gunners of the 18th Army shot down a Ukrainian drone in the Kherson region. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. Footage of the Leningrad Military District 6th Army conducting FPV calculations to destroy a Ukrainian armed forces transport vehicle. Enemy equipment explodes and burns. The enemy panics and scatters in all directions, abandoning everything. UAV operators from the Sever Group are on the job. Kharkiv region. During an aerial patrol, the launch site of the Ukrainian UAV crew was detected, followed by the discovery of their living quarters. Precision strikes by FPV UAVs completely destroyed and burned the enemy launch site. All attack footage was captured. The moments of the attack and the wreckage were recorded. Special forces affiliated with the Sever Group burned a Ukrainian armed forces self-propelled gun in the Kharkiv region. Intelligence officers, special forces affiliated with the Sever Group, and a joint operation were organized to destroy a 2S-1 Gvozdika artillery system near the village of Turovo. Northwest of Pokrovsk, an American Max Pro armored vehicle was destroyed on the M30 highway. A few small Russian FPV drones loaded with ammunition are enough to destroy NATO's and the US's expensive armored vehicles. How do you assess this situation? How do you evaluate the fact that small, fast, and light drones loaded with ammunition can destroy expensive and heavy armored vehicles? Share your thoughts in the comments. A Bodan 3.0 motorized gun was detected and destroyed in the Zemliani region. The FPV UAV operator systematically struck the Bodan's head, and it eventually went up in smoke. Ukrainian forces periodically attempted to extinguish it and bring it back to life, but the arrival of 4 FABs put an end to its presence at this position.